Hey there, guys. I am live at Healthy Voices, and I am here with Kody Morton. We've done some videos in the past. We had one on my page a couple years ago, and I know we've done some content together outside of that. So Kody is a licensed therapist, and today we're going to be reacting to therapy Reddit stories. I found some really crazy and wild therapy Reddit stories. So I figured who better to react to these with me than an actual therapist. So tell everyone who you are, what you do, and a little bit about your content, and then we'll get into these.
Yeah, my name's Kody Morton. I'm a licensed therapist, like Kody said. I've been creating educational online content for 14 years, since 2011. And yeah, my whole goal is just to educate and empower so you can make better decisions for your mental health.
I warned Kody. I looked some of these up, and they are, I can't believe there's therapists the unfortunate thing is I can believe there's therapists
we're
like this
human.
out there. Yeah.
But,
so
yeah.
We're going to jump right in and get started with the first one. So the first one is titled, "Today I messed up by sending something meant for my therapist to my girlfriend."
Ooh. Already interested.
Already, right? Okay, so it says, "I've recently started therapy to address issues with myself so I can live a happier life and not self-sabotage my relationship.
Love it.
Today at 7 a.m., I was reading a post about relationship OCD, an obsession over cheating, and marked off behaviors that affected me. This was meant to go to my therapist to prepare for our next session in 3 days. I try my best not to let these thoughts manifest into behaviors, and I feel I've been doing a good job at combating them with logic and open conversations in the relationship. Whenever I open the Messages app, I usually click on the chat with my long-distance relationship girlfriend. So without thinking, I sent the screenshot to her. My phone didn't allow me to undo send for that message, so I had to just swallow it and accept that she's going to see that screenshot. I sent her a massive paragraph about how I do not believe she is cheating, but I want to address this fear so I can handle it without affecting my behaviors. I'm worried that this may cause her to get anxious about our relationship when this is an issue solely in my head. I was hoping to solve this insecurity cleanly, but that clearly can't happen now. As a disclaimer, in no way do I think she's cheating on me at all. She reassures me constantly, and we have check-ins to make sure both of our needs are being met, which they are. Something like this has happened where I sent something to her that was related to my OCD and I didn't handle it well. I'm shitting my pants right now, and I'm worried that this is going to cause her anxiety to flare up when she needs that the least right now."
I mean, oops.
Oops. Uh-oh.
Oh, no. But I think there's a couple of things. I think first, it sounds like their relationship is good.
Yeah.
So you should just talk about it. I honestly don't think there's any benefit in hiding what you're working on in therapy from your relationship, as long as you're comfortable. I know this person's not comfortable, but I'm just saying, it sounds like they're good. It sounds like they communicate. This should be fine.
Yeah.
I would totally understand and be like, oh, you feel anxious, or this is she might Google what's OCD and how's that work and what's that look like. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
And then you'd be like, oh, I get it.
This is why I thought it was an interesting story, because they have a therapist. They're working through, they clearly understand with their OCD, they have obsession over cheating. They have all of these things. And
a lot of people have that obsession, by the way.
And they're taking the proper steps. But I can only imagine, because everyone sends stuff to someone it's not supposed to go to, but I could only imagine specifically having something ready to send to your therapist and send it to your significant other.
And then you're like, oh my God. Want to hear the funny, really quick random story?
Yeah.
So my husband was coming back. He'd been working these long hours, and he called me, he thought, but he accidentally called his, the person he was working.
Oh.
And luckily, they've worked together for a long time or whatever.
Yeah.
Her name is Elizabeth. That's kind of important, because he leaves a message. He's like, hey, honey, I'm on my way home. Been a long day. It says I'll be home in 45 minutes. I'll see you then. If you want me to pick up dinner, let me know. Bye. So she calls him back and jokes, I got this funny mail. Oh, hey, honey. So we've all called the wrong person, texted the wrong person, said the wrong thing. But in this case, I think it's a normal fear when you really care about someone to think maybe they would. That's a very anxious attachment.
100%. Yeah.
We've all felt that. And I think communicate, move on, we'll be okay.
Yep.
The more they freak out, I think actually the bigger a deal it's going to be.
100%. Yeah, absolutely.
Because you can turn a molehill into a mountain just from ruminating. Like I said, they're shitting their pants. I'm like, you don't need to send a paragraph. Be like, oops, that was from my therapist, something I've been working on. No need to worry.
Yeah. As long as you explain it and talk it through.
Yes.
One of the top comments is, it just says, oof, tough one. It's a good relationship test, though.
Yes.
And so a lot of the comments were like that. The second top comment said, she'll probably be stoked with someone who goes to therapy and is honest with their therapist and their struggles instead of projecting them onto her.
100%.
So
I think we all would love if our partner was
100%.
doing
Yeah.
the work.
Yep.
I do the work myself in my own therapy, and it's great to have a partner who's doing the same.
Yeah, yeah. There was an update to this. The update was, we talked about this, and she's not upset at all. She understands that I have irrational fears and is glad I'm taking steps to stop it from causing problems later in our relationship.
Amazing.
So this, I will say, this is probably the least wild of the stories I chose, but I thought it was a good starting point.
We're warming up.
Yeah, warm up. Yep. Believe me, this is just warm up. All right, so the next one. Am I the asshole if I report my couples therapist that married my ex-boyfriend a year after our sessions with her?
That is against.
Hold on. Let's hear the therapist out, guys.
So let's not take their license.
Let's hear her out, okay? All right. Okay. This is an older story. It says, in 2017, I, female 25, started seeing a couple therapists with my then boyfriend, male 36. After 3 sessions with her, I refused to return due to her blatant flirtatious behavior and extremely judgmental attitude towards me, which my ex-boyfriend called me delusional for pointing out. She had told me that I seemed too immature, not ready for therapy or a serious relationship. The whole thing was focused on my ex-boyfriend and his complaints about me. She never asked me about my feelings or my perspective in the relationship. We broke up about 2 months after the sessions, but I stayed living with my ex-boyfriend until November. Once I moved out, I had returned to our old apartment to get the mail. This was in December, and that was the first time I saw the therapist with my ex. They happened to be getting ready to go out on his motorcycle, and were both wearing full face motorcycle helmets, but I knew from her body, her hair, etc., that it was her. But nevertheless, I moved on with my life. I just found out yesterday my ex got married due to a friend telling me about a photo he posted on Facebook. The photo was of him and my ex-therapist celebrating their 1-year wedding anniversary.
Oh my God.
I found her on Facebook with the name change, and sure enough, they got married in September of 2018, so a year after the whole thing happened.
Also, isn't that a really quick relationship? Like, forget that they met under extremely unethical.
Hold on, let's hear the therapist out. We don't know. Maybe there's more to her side of the story here. Sure enough, they got married in September of 2018. That was less than a year after the breakup with my ex, and barely over a year that our sessions ended. So I am considering filing a complaint with the American Counseling Association.
Yes,
my
please.
friends and mental health counselors I know say I have enough evidence. I'm not upset that my ex moved on, so have I. I thank the universe every day that I'm no longer with that narcissist. However, I deeply feel disturbed to find out he married our therapist, especially remembering how harmful she was to me in those sessions, which, to be honest, really messed me up in the head. I fear I'm coming off bitter, so am I the asshole for reporting my therapist for marrying my ex-boyfriend a year after our relationship, or a year after our sessions with her?
Not an asshole.
Are you sure?
With 100. So when you become at least a therapist, I'm an LMFT.
Yeah.
But they're all the same. Like when it comes to legalities, ethical and legal considerations are like the most important thing. Mm-hmm. And there's even a book, and this maybe it's not a book now, it's probably like something you email, I don't know. But if you ever have a patient hit on you or someone talk about this type of a situation, there's a book that says professional psychotherapy never includes sex. And you're supposed to give it to them because it's very inappropriate for that type of relationship to happen.
Oh, yeah.
At least, so in the therapy space, it's at least 3 years, okay?
Okay.
We as therapists say never, because that's wrong. It feels wrong. The relationship dynamic is wrong.
Yep.
I mean, they only saw her once, maybe, right?
3 times, it said. They met 3 times, but the girlfriend gave up because she was like, oh, she's being flirtatious and not asking me any questions.
Which, Like, there was no therapeutic relationship really. So in that case, I'm like, whatever. But that's the problem, that she flirted. Like, that's
In session is crazy.
yeah.
Actually.
She should report her because, like she said, like I wouldn't want someone like that out seeing patients. Like,
Oh, no.
has this happened before? I can never imagine in my wildest of imaginations showing up into my office, having someone come in to see me, and then flirt. Like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
no. So yes, file. They should never do that. Very inappropriate, unethical. It'd be a strike against her license.
Yeah. A couple of comments. The very first comment, tons of upvotes. It says, "Hi, I'm a therapist. Please report her. Her behavior is ridiculously unethical, and who knows what else she has done, or if she should even be allowed to practice." Wild. I do find one of the other comments, they were like, "Oh, playing devil's advocate." They said, "The normal rule is no dating patients within 12 months of the last encounter. Not sure if that's legal or just an in-house rule."
Maybe states are different. I'm licensed in California and Texas, and it's 3 years.
Okay.
And also maybe it's because I'm LMFT, counseling, I don't know, like counselors, so I'm older, and licensed counselors was not a real, like, there weren't as many of them, and they had totally different rules and things now.
Okay.
I know that they've changed, like they used to not be able to diagnose, and they used to not be able to do certain things, and they've expanded their reach. Who knows? I don't care. 12 months, doesn't matter. It shouldn't be never.
Yeah, 100%.
Inappropriate.
I
Weird.
also think to me, it should be longer when you're literally a couples therapist. Like you said, never, obviously, ideally, but especially if you're a couples therapist and you end up dating one of the couples, like one of the people in one of the couples you met.
There's
crazy.
just so much wrong with this.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
your goal is to help the couple, like, fix whatever issue, talk about the thing, work through it, and you're like trying to. It's just so wrong. Like, we can't even say it with a straight face. You're like,
no,
what the hell is
it's literally
happening?
that, like, out there.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, the verdict was not the asshole. So, shocker. All right. So I told you we eased into it with the first one. So,
Definitely.
all right. So here is the next one. Am I the asshole for reporting my therapist after she disclosed information to my stepmom? So I read this and I was like, okay, I know that there are cases where they have to disclose certain information.
How old are they?
That's why I want to get into it.
Okay.
20 female.
Wrong. Incorrect.
No, wrong. Start over.
You're an adult.
So yeah, I, 20 female, lost my mom in 2018 in a car accident. It was sudden, it was devastating, and I had no one to turn to for support. My dad married my stepmom a year later. I currently live with them because I'm still in medical school. I have to say I'm not excited to start because I have a lot of unresolved grief and I needed to talk to someone. My stepmom has been trying to insert herself as a replacement for my mom, and it's very obvious, she says. Yeah. So she's controlling. She gets involved with every single aspect of my life. Like, it makes me uncomfortable. I told my dad that I'll be seeing a therapist. My stepmom said she'd take care of it. I have been in therapy for 2 months now. However, lately I noticed my stepmom wanting to talk to me about things that I regularly bring up to my therapist. She bluntly asks me things about things I said in therapy. At some point, she said she offered me money to talk to her. So I think she's saying the stepmom offered her money to talk to her about what she was going through.
Like, her own therapy, or like to
the daughter, I think. Yeah, I maybe because she was
Weird.
that reserved. So she, I'll pay you if you tell me what's going on. I think that's what
crazy.
she's saying here. Okay. So she said, I stopped talking to her, but she started to bring up my mom during dinner. It's not easy to talk about my mom. It's very stressful and it causes me to get emotional. When I asked how she knew, she admitted that my therapist told her. I was shocked. She went on about why I shouldn't hate her and I should respect her more and get rid of the negativity.
Oh, God.
And just accept and try to adapt to this new normal. I had no response, but I was mad and yelled at her and told her she had no right to police my words and get involved with personal matter. My dad said I shouldn't yell at my stepmom because she was just worried about me and wanted to make sure I was making progress in therapy. I left the kitchen. I decided to stop seeing my therapist the next day. I told her about what my stepmom said and told her that I'd be reporting her for breaking confidentiality.
Yes.
My stepmom threw a fit, and my dad told me to back down and that I was free to stop going, but not to cause issues and mess with people's careers and act out.
What?
And then it says, I refuse to listen to him, and he's telling me to stop it. He ignores how upset I am. So I feel like there's a lot of problems with a lot of people in this story, but
Yes.
but what's your immediate first response?
She's not the asshole. She should report. Confidentiality is huge. If there's no confidentiality, no one's going to want to talk to a therapist. Like if you don't think it's kept there, then why you wouldn't share the thing? Because think about the things we talk about in therapy are like
so personal.
Yes, and like some of the things that you aren't maybe ready to admit to the world, to yourself. These are like that's what makes therapy special. Yeah. So there's that. Also, this stepmom needs to fucking take a step back. Like,
wild.
What are you doing? Like, I understand, like, oh, also he got married a year after. It's just so fast.
This is only a year in. She literally is like, oh, just move on. Forget about your mom.
Yeah.
I'm your new mom.
I'm your mom. And also, she's like 20. She's an adult. So, okay, here's the legalities. 'Cause I feel like we all need to know. So, when it comes to confidentiality, once you're 18, you're an adult, and you have to sign a release of authorization saying that, let's say you were my therapist. I could say, Kody, I allow you to talk to my doctor,
Same
my
with any medical.
psychiatrist. Yes. About things pertaining to this, blah, blah, blah. And you sign it. And those things are usually good. Mine in my practice were 6 months because I didn't want people to think I was like making them sign forever. Always check that. You can put an expiration date, but at the very least, you have to sign one of those. And they can only talk about what's on that thing. Okay? So there's that piece. Then the second is the fact that, like, so she's an adult. This isn't even her mom at all. Because if you're a child, so if you're under 18, you have the ability as a therapist to talk about what my law and ethics professor would call sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Yeah.
When you think your patient could be in danger. Now, you have to be able to, because they could still put a strike against your license, because it's still confidentiality. It doesn't matter if they're a child or not.
Yep.
But you have to have a good enough reason thinking that they might be harming themselves or someone else.
Okay.
That's it,
Yep.
period. Now, therapists can get a little loosey-goosey, so if you are under 18, you always want to ask, what are you going to tell my parents? Can you please tell me first?
Yeah.
And if you ever, for whatever reason, feel like they're sharing too much, or they're, because sometimes like parents are abusive and the therapist doesn't know yet, and they'll tell them something that then you get like punished for later. That's all bad. That's why we don't do that. That's why confidentiality is so important. And you as a patient hold the confidentiality, which means that, like, as a therapist, it's not really up to my discretion, other than danger to self or others. So anyway, those are your rights.
Well, and that's good to know, because immediately I read the title. I'm like, compared to some of the stories I've read, this doesn't sound that crazy. But then immediately I read 20 female, and I was like, okay, well, you're an adult.
Yeah.
So
what the fuck is going on?
And then I find it really interesting, because to be the therapist in that scenario, I don't know how that information just got volunteered up to this stepmom. And it sounds like it wasn't just like here and there. So throughout the entire time she was in therapy, the stepmom was bringing up things she was talking about, which means they probably had like a constant back and forth with the therapist.
Well, my guess would be, I don't know, obviously making assumptions, that because the stepmom was like covering therapy or figuring out, I wonder if she knows a therapist.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever, still not okay.
Yeah.
Like, even if I was seeing your wife, I'd just be like, can't say I am or not. And you'd be like, but I know she's seen you. And I'd be like, can't say I am or not.
Validate that with her.
Talk to Allison. So that could be why, and maybe she called to pay, but then the therapist should be like, it's off limits. Like, I don't know what she was thinking at all. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. I don't think there was a lot of logic on a lot of ends here. Someone said, not the asshole, report her and get as far away from these people as you can. You should be able to talk to your therapist without worrying. Find one who doesn't know her at all. I'm so sorry.
Yes.
One of the things that struck me with this that's really unfair is that it's so hard to get someone to do therapy. Therapy's a thing that not everyone's willing to do, and the people that are, they're putting themselves out there. This woman might never trust a therapist again. It's going to be so hard for her to do this and continue doing it.
That always bums me out, because therapy can be incredibly beneficial, and unfortunately therapists are like any other person that you hire. Like, you can hire a plumber that like totally messes up your plumbing system in your house, or you can hire someone that makes it so much better and fixes all of the problems that you ask them to. And I hate to say it that way, but like, trust your gut. If you don't like someone, don't go back. You
Yep.
never have to make another appointment. If there's anything going on where you don't feel, you can always file, you go to whatever your state is, you can file a strike against their license. You don't have to.
Yeah.
I encourage you to, because they shouldn't be practicing.
Yeah.
But yeah, unfortunately, therapists are human too.
The last thing about this story, I didn't love the dad. Just basically, I guess he did say, "Oh, you don't have to go to this therapist anymore," like it was a decision because she's an adult.
Yeah, she can do whatever she wants.
Oh, you don't have to go. But then, didn't back her up and is like, "Oh, just don't cause drama. Oh, just let it go." I'd be like, "No," and I'm glad she went through with it and didn't just listen, because I'm like, "You are an adult. This is a breach of your personal information and things you're willing to talk about, not with your parents." So really frustrating to hear that kind of everyone in this story besides OP sucks.
Agreed. Because the dad should have had her back. She's his child and she just lost her mom.
Yeah, he should understand. Hey, you just lost your other parent.
Her whole life is
and now there's a person here who obviously he probably loves his new wife or whatever, but this is your child who just lost a parent. You gotta give it time. You gotta be there for them more than your spouse. I feel like.
Well, in that yes.
Yeah, in that specific scenario.
Because his new wife is clearly at fault.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
I'd be like, what the hell are you doing? She's overstepping. I don't know. I don't even like that stepmom. She seems very why is she moving so quick? What are you doing?
Yeah.
What's your end goal?
I do wish they would have put ages in here, because this is just my assumption. This sounds like a younger stepmom thing.
I think the same thing.
And that's just the vibe I got. I can't prove that, but it's just the vibe I got from it. So, okay. So next one, kind of similar to the first one. It says, today I fucked up by sending my therapist a meme meant for my ex. So this is the other way around, where instead of sending it to the spouse or something, they sent it to their therapist.
That's actually better, I think.
Well, let's see what the meme is. So it says, so I've been in therapy for a while. It's going okay. I cry less when someone says we need to talk. So progress?
Yes.
That's what they put. So progress?
Question mark?
Anyways, last night I was feeling bold. I decided to message my ex something lighthearted to break the ice. I found this perfect meme of a skeleton sitting in a therapist chair saying, "It's not that deep, Susan. I'm literally dead." I think it's funny that this, before we finish the story, I think it's so funny that they're like, I decided to break the ice with my ex. Why? I don't know.
I was like, why
but
are we rekindling?
But then also the next one, I found this perfect meme. What do you mean? And so
many questions.
So they go on to say, classic, passive aggressive, emotionally immature, just my style. Except that I didn't send it to my ex. I sent it to my actual therapist at 11:47 p.m.
Oops.
With the caption, "Haha, remember when you said I have abandonment issues?" No reply for hours. I went to bed thinking, okay, maybe she'll laugh. She gets my humor. She did not. Today in session, she printed the meme, handed it to me, and said, let's unpack this. I spent 45 minutes analyzing a meme I meant to send out of pettiness. She said it was deeply revealing. I said it was deeply unfortunate. We both cried for very different reasons. Today I messed up by sending my therapist a meme meant for my ex. What do you think about that? The meme's actually not as bad as I thought.
No.
I do think the caption says a lot about them, and then the context of oh, this was supposed to go to my ex. Why? Why?
First of all, there's so many things, and that's why the therapist there's a lot to unpack.
Yeah.
Let's unpack this, which is in therapist speak means, wow, there's so many things we need to talk about. That's essentially what we're saying, and so which is not wrong.
No, 100%, very valid.
We had questions out the gate. Why are you texting your ex? Why'd you guys break up? What do you? But so we kind of
learned. Why a meme? Why is that the way to break the ice?
Why are we rekindling?
Yeah.
Why are we breaking the ice? Why aren't we just moving on? The fact that they even mentioned remember when you said there's a lot to it, and I think it's actually really helpful that they accidentally sent it to their therapist because they probably need to work on whatever that is.
Yeah, which I don't even know what that is.
Would they say is detached or something?
Yeah, well, they said, so the caption read, haha, remember when you said I have abandonment issues? Which to me doesn't make sense with the meme.
No.
You know what? I'm so chronically online. I'm like, this doesn't fit the context of the meme
No.
and I'm angry about it.
Yeah, it doesn't. But abandonment is, okay, so yeah, so then they probably need to talk about why and
Yeah.
what that is. And like, did that break you up? And what do you mean they said this to you? And like, does that mean you act in these anxious ways? Almost back to the other story where it was like the OCD, like the concern and oh my God, you're cheating. Like, is that how it came out? There was a lot to talk about. And I'm glad the therapist didn't just let it slide, that they brought it up. And I will tell you that there have been so many times in my therapy practice, not that scenario, but something will happen. They'll say something or do something or show me a journal entry or here's a text conversation, and they'll think that they can just move right on. They're like, oh my God, isn't that crazy?
Isn't that crazy?
I'm like,
Anyways,
wow, wild.
today.
And then I'm like making notes, and then either that session or the next, I'm like, hey, remember that? Let's talk about this.
Yeah, like, hey, you know how you tried to skip past that? We actually do need to address it.
It's actually not.
That's happened to me in therapy before.
Yes, and me too, though.
Yeah.
'Cause
Oh, yeah.
We tried to sidestep uncomfortable things, and the discomfort is actually where we need to hang out.
Yes.
That's where growth happens.
Yep. So yeah, that's a shorter story, but I was like, oh my gosh. Once again, I just imagine the minute you realize that you sent it to your therapist instead of your ex.
And you're like, no.
Come back. No. So the top comment said she printed the meme.
I know, that is kind of funny. I was like, how old is this therapist?
Yeah. The second comment was, I mean, it sounds like it helped.
Exactly.
Maybe your subconscious brain knew what it was doing. This one was just one of those where I'm like, this could have been worse.
It could have been way worse. And I think it's like what they say, like a Freudian slip.
Yeah.
When you say what you really mean. It's like you sent it to who you really needed to send it to.
Yeah.
And didn't break the ice with your ex, which is probably for the better.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, okay. The last one, and I mean, bear with me.
Okay.
This is a little bit long, but
it's worth it.
I had to get this one, and you'll see why. Am I the asshole for blowing up at my girlfriend after therapy backfired? My 28 male girlfriend, Emma, 27 female, and I have been together for 6 years. Most of that time, we've been happy, like really happy. The kind of relationship people say just works, you know? We were always on the same page, rarely fought, and genuinely enjoyed each other's company. But over the past year, things started to feel ... different. Small arguments here and there, more miscommunication, and just a weird sense that we weren't as in sync as we used to be. It wasn't anything major, the usual wear and tear stuff, or so I thought. Emma, however, seemed more concerned, and she started pointing out issues I wasn't even aware of. Like, supposedly, I wasn't listening enough, or I wasn't as emotionally available as I used to be. I admit I've been busy with work, but I thought we were doing okay. Still, I didn't want to dismiss her feelings. Then about 6 months ago, she suggested we go to couples therapy. Now, I've been a bit skeptical about therapy unless things are really bad, but I agreed because I figured it couldn't hurt. She found a great therapist through a friend, and she decided we should give it a try. I wasn't familiar with this Lily, but Emma was excited about it, so we booked our first session. At first, the session seemed fine. Lily asked good questions, got us to open up, and gave us some tools to communicate better. I felt like I was doing my best to listen and improve, but something felt a bit off. Every time we talked about any issue, it seemed Lily was always subtly siding with Emma. If I mentioned being stressed at work, she'd steer the conversation towards how I wasn't giving enough attention to Emma. If I brought up a disagreement, somehow it became my communication issues.
Uh-oh.
After a few weeks, Emma started using phrases like, Lily thinks we should try this, or Lily said you need to work on that. It felt like everything I did was being scrutinized, dissected by a woman I barely knew. I didn't want to be paranoid. It seemed like Lily was slowly convincing Emma that I was the problem in the relationship, and every time I tried to voice my own concerns, they were brushed aside. I tried to push through it, thinking maybe I was being defensive, but it didn't stop. Every session, the same dynamic. It was like Lily was planting seeds of doubt in Emma's head, and Emma was running with them. I even started to wonder if maybe I was the problem. Was I actually this bad of a partner? Things reached a boiling point a couple of weeks ago during a session. Lily suggested that maybe we should try considering a break so I could work on myself. That felt like a slap in the face. I'd been trying for months to do better, and now she was suggesting we split up. I looked at Emma, waiting for her to disagree or defend me, but she just sat there quietly nodding. After that session, I couldn't hold it in anymore. I blew up at Emma when we got home. I told her I didn't trust Lily's judgment, and it felt like she was just feeding Emma reasons to blame me for everything wrong in the relationship. Emma got defensive, saying I was overreacting and that Lily was just trying to help us through our issues. We didn't talk for a few days, and I started feeling guilty about snapping. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe therapy was exposing flaws that I needed to work on. But then something happened that blew everything wide open. Last week, we went to a mutual friend's party. While there, I overheard Emma and her friend Sarah talking in the corner and giggling about something. Quote, "I can't believe you pulled it off for this long. Poor guy still thinks she's an actual therapist." I immediately confronted them, and that's when Emma's face turned pale. Sarah quickly tried to backtrack, but the truth spilled out. Turns out Lily isn't a licensed therapist at all.
What?
She's one of Emma's close friends from college who thought it would be fun to help Emma fix me by posing as a therapist.
That's so fucked up.
Emma had this whole thing set up because she thought I wouldn't agree to therapy otherwise. They figured out that Lily was...
But he did agree to therapy. What?
I know. They said they figured with Lily playing the part, they could guide me into becoming a better boyfriend without me knowing. I felt completely betrayed. For months, I'd been spilling my heart out to someone who wasn't even qualified to help, and Emma had been in on it the whole time. All of those sessions where I felt attacked and manipulated suddenly made sense because I was being manipulated. When I confronted Emma about how messed up this was, she broke down, saying she never meant to hurt me. She just wanted to help us grow as a couple. But honestly, I don't know how to move past this. I haven't been able to look at her the same since. Now Emma and her friends are saying I overreacted and that it was just a white lie meant to help our relationship. But I feel like I've been gaslit and lied to for months. So am I the asshole for blowing up at my girlfriend when I found out our therapist was a total fraud?
No. Oh my God. Okay. So he agreed to therapy.
Yeah.
So they actually could have gone to therapy.
100%.
And actually improve things. Mm-hmm. And here's a tough truth that people probably don't want to realize or admit to themselves. A relationship takes two people.
Yeah.
And Emma is just as to blame for the problems in their relationship as he is.
Yeah.
So to say that it's all his fault and to put it on him, that's never the case. And I know people are like, but what if they're a narcissist? You still play a role.
Yeah.
You still react. We all, you're passive aggressive. We all do things. That's so messed up. He has to break up with her.
100%. Well, there's so many things about this story I want to talk about. First of all, let's acknowledge 6 years they were together.
And why hasn't he met that friend if it's a close friend from college? That was one question.
Yeah. I was wondering that too.
Yeah.
I have friends from college that I'm close with in the context of I used to know them, but I don't talk to them as much anymore. That being said, my wife does know all my friends.
That's the thing. I'm trying to think of a friend of Sean's, my husband, that I don't know, or at least by name.
Yeah, exactly. So
So
that
question mark.
Probably just a friend on the fringes of their life.
Yep.
But this whole thing is what really bothered me was at the end. They're like, oh, my girlfriend and their friends are saying that I'm overreacting, and this was a little white lie. I was like, you literally gaslit. Sometimes in our society, certain therapy terms get overused. I think gaslighting can be one of them.
Yes.
This is 100% actual gaslighting.
Yes.
Making someone believe something that isn't true and altering their reality of what's going on. So 100%.
Because he started to question himself.
Yeah, 100,
right?
yeah.
Yes.
So not a little white lie at all.
No, a white lie is oh yeah, I just ran to the grocery store and then you went and got lunch with your friend or something too.
Yeah.
I don't know. Even that, I'm this is crazy.
Still a breach of trust.
Yeah,
There's so much.
Still a lie. But this is not a little white lie. This is a huge breach of his trust. Also, to feel like you're talking to someone and then it's their friend.
Yeah.
That just makes me feel so...
Looking back on that would be... imagine you were in therapy for months.
all the things.
So much, yeah. Oh. Another thing that struck me in this was he did say early on, he's I'm skeptical of therapy. And he gave it a shot, and this was the result. Mm-hmm. He will never go to therapy again.
And that bums... Also, that wasn't even really therapy.
No, I know, but you know he's not going to now
yes.
because he's going to be so scarred from this. And I just like...
And like trust in his relationships in the future, because he definitely shouldn't be dating Emma anymore.
Yeah. No, like you said, you said right away, you're like, they should break up. But like, I think that's everyone's, like everyone in the comments, Reddit sources, like a slight inconvenience. Oh, you got to break up with her. Oh, you got to leave her, you know? And I don't usually agree. No. This is one where I was like, you need to get out of there.
Yes, because there's so many layers to this. Number one, she thinks all the problems are yours, which is not healthy. Number two,
the manipulation.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
And like having people in cahoots, like, ugh. This is supposed to be your trusted confidant, your partner in life. Like if you want to get married, not that they have to, but even just a partnership, like you're supposed to see them, like they're in the foxhole with you. You're in it together. You're working. I want the best for you. You want the best for me. That's a healthy relationship. I don't know what the hell that is, but it's not that there's no going back, but I don't believe that is a person that I would want to spend any time with.
No,
I wouldn't even want to be friends with that person.
No.
If somebody in my group was doing that, I'd be like, shame on you.
And that was the other thing that like you just said, there's a lot of people involved with this. Lily is pretending to be a therapist.
I know.
Which I don't know the legality of this, but like I think he could like sue her or bring her because like he went to her under the guise that she was a licensed professional. I think that's a law, isn't it? You can't fake being a doctor or a professional.
Like you can't. Yeah, I don't know what it would be because it doesn't happen very often. I would hope.
I would hope. Yeah.
But like it's like not like false advertising, but it's like impersonating.
Yeah,
like you can't impersonate a police officer. You can't like I don't think you can impersonate a medical professional or a mental health professional.
I'm fairly certain there's a law.
I'm pretty sure there's got to be a law.
So like I hope he got like actual legal advice for this because But like not only was Lily there pretending to be a therapist and the girlfriend knew about it, but they're talking to other friends, which means there are other friends that know about this and haven't said anything to OP, they're all complicit. And I'm like, there's so many people involved with this.
Yeah, I find it just so disgusting, personally.
Yeah. Any other like takeaways? I mean, I know there's so much in here. So I know there's a lot to unpack.
I mean, I guess in general, in relationships, if someone's manipulating us, if we feel gaslit,
100%,
get out of there. Trust your gut. Like his gut kind of told him something was off. I'm just very disappointed in people. I don't know why you'd ever want. It's like so hurtful. That's the thing. It just feels so hurtful. And he was trying to work on things. And couples therapy can be great. And I love that he was willing to do it.
Though. Yeah, it's
super
hard.
challenging. And any healthy couple, I guess this is the takeaway.
Yep.
In any healthy couples counseling session, both members should feel heard. The therapist never sides. In fact, when we're taught in school, it's not that you're taking on like this person and this person. The couple is your patient, meaning that you're always looking out for the overall health and wellness of the couple. And that's how it should always feel. Yes, there's gonna be times where like, well, hey, do you notice that's passive aggressive behavior? And you're like, God damn, yes. And then the other person, they'll be like, you realize you're not really clearly communicating or whatever. But you should both feel challenged.
The balance.
And in one session, you might feel a little more, and then your
But
partner.
you can't show that or say that if you're feeling that as a therapist.
No, as a therapist, we don't do that. But like as a patient, you might feel like, oh, this session was a little harsh for me, and then your partner would feel it the next time, and vice versa. Just like that.
A couple of the comments here. The first one was not the asshole. By the way, the verdict was not the asshole. Shocker.
Surprise.
But the first comment was not the asshole, but you should be doing some consulting with a lawyer because Lily was very likely practicing medicine without a license. That was my immediate first thought. A comment on that comment, they responded, pro tip, don't take a lawyer recommendation from your ex.
Yes, right.
It's going to be a fake lawyer. Yes, I will represent you.
They don't even have their JD. No, don't do that.
Another one said, oh boy, report Lily to your psych/counselor registration board for false representation. That's going to go down like a lead balloon. My other thought was I was like, maybe this person is a licensed therapist, but like obviously she still used this and manipulated. But actually that one makes sense because I guess the friend that they were talking about it with did say, I can't believe he still thinks she's a therapist. Yeah, so
essentially.
I was like, even that would be horrible, but at least then I'm like, Well, he was talking to a professional. Maybe
Yeah.
he did get some insight out of it before it went like really off the deep end. I also, one of the things I didn't understand in this was one of the last sessions, the therapist Lily suggested like, oh, we should look at you guys taking a break. Now with her and Emma talking about this, I'm like, is that what Emma wanted?
Well,
like she wanted like
when you were reading
break or
it,
separation?
I thought she was going to say that she wanted to break up with him and didn't know how.
Yeah.
Like, because it's been so long. They've been in a
But then
relationship.
she came back and was like, oh, forgive me, and this was a
Yeah.
white lie, and so manipulative.
So, yes, and part of me feels like it's a control thing. I don't know Emma, but I wouldn't trust her in any relationship. And she seems, I don't know what the goal was or what, like why, but the fact that like Lily said they should take a break and Emma like kind
I
of
wonder
went
if
along
she
with
like,
it.
yeah, I wonder if like she was already like altering his behaviors and stuff because it sounds like he was taking this stuff to heart. He was like,
Yeah.
oh, maybe I am the problem.
Which
and,
again
like,
makes it even worse because
I know
he
it's
was
like
really
he was
trying
putting
and
in the effort.
Emma's a jerk. Emma's the asshole.
Yeah, for sure. So that's the last story I have.
Was a
wild
whopper.
question. What do you think was the craziest story we heard today?
I mean, that last one's wild,
Yeah.
but because it wasn't a real therapist, I'm gonna have to go with the one where they got married.
Oh yeah.
'Cause that-
I forgot about that one actually because I
Just
was so like
wiped
this
that-
one like. Boom. No, that one is like, and like you said, you should never do it. But after a year, to find out that they are like married, and then like 2 years in, they're celebrating a 1-year anniversary. They're like wild to me.
Wild. And unfortunately, it happens, and that's why there's laws against it.
Yeah.
There was a psychiatrist I used to work with who married one of his patients.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, never referring people, never, like that's.
No, that's so not
And you'd be
okay.
like, that should be illegal. It is.
Yeah.
It's unethical.
Yeah.
You can take, so I just feel like whenever you're in a position of power, which I know it sounds weird to be like a therapist in a position of power.
It is
but,
though, because
but
they
you
have
go to them for
information
help.
about you and like yeah.
I am a therapist. When I go to my therapist, I look to her for
Mm-hmm.
I place her a little bit above me in this situation. You have clearer vision of this.
Yeah.
That is just such, it just feels so bad. You're taking advantage.
Yeah.
Because you're in that position of power. So yuck, that was my least favorite and the most just icky.
Yeah, that one not great. The other two about like sending messages were a little bit lighter, a little
Yeah.
bit shorter stories, but I wanted to include those because it's just like one of those things that could easily happen to anyone. I'm sure has happened to people, but in both of those situations, I felt like, hey, these are things that like the one where they sent it to the therapist. I'm like, that was probably for the best for them, honestly, because
Yes.
they definitely had stuff they had to work on. But this last story, I read it. When I was prepping for this episode, I read it and I was like, oh my God, there's so much going on there. But yeah, thank you so much for reacting to these with me. I hope you aren't leaving this scarred from these stories.
I'll talk about it in my own therapy. Process it through.
Yeah, talk about it with your therapist. It's been a little bit, but I might have to go back to therapy after reading some of these. And I will definitely check to make sure they have a license before I go.
You can actually ask to see their resume.
Yeah.
If you want to know what they specialize in, where they went to school.
That's a good
all
idea.
that stuff. Double check that. I bet Lily wouldn't have had hers prepared.
Yeah, well, she would have had, it would have been like written in crayon or something.
Lily
like,
the
yes,
liar.
look at my resume. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on and doing this. And if you guys don't follow Katie, go check her out. Where can they find you and follow you?
Kady Morton, KATI Wow, Jesus Christ, can't even. I just had a stroke. Sorry, it's really early.
No,
Very tired.
yeah. For context, it's like 9-10 o'clock in the morning, and we are at a conference, super busy. But yeah, sorry. Where can they find you?
All over the internet, it's just Kady Morton. That's on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all the things. I post every week, and I have a podcast. Ask Katie anything.
And we will tag all Katie's stuff in the comments. Be sure to check her out. Be sure to look at all her content. You can learn a lot. She always has really informative and educational content, as well as a lot of stuff for dealing with healing and stuff you can kind of use personally in your own life. I look at a lot of Katie's content like my own little free therapy sessions outside of my regular therapy.
And I am licensed. You can
yeah,
check.
She,
You can go
she is
online.
licensed.
I have no strikes against either of my licenses.
So thank you so much, everyone. If you like this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know if we ever did a second one of these. If there's stories that you could send us,
Yes,
I
please.
would love to see more of these stories. But have a good one. And remember, my name's Kody. Don't worry, I am real.